Hey guys, it is Sleepless Authors here, and I'm going to talk about whether or not handwriting can actually help your writing process. So I've kind of done both. I had a period where I used to handwrite all the time, and then I kind of completely abandoned it for digital needs. So if you like to handwrite your first drafts, I do have some good news for you. Handwriting adds an extra stage of editing to your pipeline without you even fully realizing it. So if you handwrite things, ultimately you're probably going to have to sit down and transcribe them at some point. Whether you want to post it online, send it out to publishers, at some point that transcription process is going to come up. But the good thing is, as you're filling up those notebooks, as you are working on that rough draft on paper, when you sit down to type it up, as you're transcribing it, you're going to start noticing things that you can improve. You're already going to start seeing little things that you can change, whether it's a matter of word choice, whether it's just picking up on sentences that might be awkward. And this is honestly one of the best parts of handwriting your first drafts because you're adding in that extra stage of editing. Another funny thing that comes about from handwriting is that it will improve your spelling dramatically. You never realize just how much you rely on things like spell check and autocorrect until you sit down with nothing but a pen and paper and realize that you don't remember how to spell Fahrenheit environment or 1,000 other words that you're probably going to need to use in your story or poetry at some point. There's so many words that we take for granted. Those are just kind of long ones. But even simple words, you might realize that you kind of just transpose a couple letters in your head, and it's the kind of thing that never comes to light unless you do handwrite. In line with your spelling improving, your vocabulary will also improve. As you are forced to look things up, you're going to start seeing new synonyms, new antonyms, and it'll kind of help you grow your vocabulary. You wouldn't think that writing in a more old-fashioned way, where you have fewer tools at your disposal, would actually help your vocabulary, but it actually really does. As I filled up many, many notebooks that have given me a massive headache while moving the last few times, I would have to take that time, and it really helped me grow my vocabulary and learn some new words. Obviously, when you're writing, you don't necessarily want to just throw a big, long, uncommon word at your reader, but it never hurts just to kind of learn other relatively common words that you can kind of slip into your writing that can be really effective. However, there's always a big drawback to handwriting, and that is you must beware the dreaded carpal tunnel. So this is honestly the biggest reason why I stopped handwriting my first drafts. I will spend all the time in the world doing carpal tunnel exercises. Definitely look up proper guides on this, don't just copy me. But essentially, handwriting all my first drafts, since I was working on a lot of novels, I was literally filling just hundreds and hundreds of pages, and yeah, it gave me carpal tunnel. Granted, that's combined with also using computers all the time, taking a crap ton of online classes, drawing, which is another one of my hobbies that is not hand-friendly. So it's not definitely going to give it to you, but just be mindful of that. Look up carpal tunnel stretches, do stretches. If your hand starts to hurt, give yourself a break. Handwriting can be nice for your writing process, but you also have to take care of your body, even as a writer. This is more of a fun fact, but there are two ways to handwrite. So there's one where you're primarily moving your wrist. That's what I do, and that is also what will lead you to more hand and wrist problems down the road. But if you take an approach where you're more moving your arm as you write and kind of engaging your upper arm, it's a lot more work, and if it's not what you normally do, it's going to feel super awkward at first, but that's one thing that can kind of improve your stamina and longevity with handwriting your drafts. The only other downside to handwriting that I would note is that obviously it's going to take you a bit longer to get that first draft down. The act of typing is faster than the act of handwriting. Another drawback would be that it is all on paper. So if you lose your notebook, you're a little bit not in a good place. You're kind of up the creek, But if you do write digitally, it's a lot easier to make backups using tools like Google Docs and things like that, or even just utilizing cloud storage to upload your documents somewhere. So either process has its pros and cons. Personally, I am a fan of handwriting. If you don't do it, I would definitely recommend trying it out and seeing if it kind of inspires you a little bit more. I always found that it helped me a lot with poetry because I always felt more in tune with the words and lines I was writing when I was doing it on paper first rather than just staring at my little screen. But let me know what works best for you. Tell me about your writing process. It's really interesting because we all have our unique way of going about it. So thank you guys for watching and have an awesome day.